In our ongoing effort to showcase just how bad Republicans actually are, because, not that we need the reminders, but I think it's good to have sort of an archive. You've probably heard about this. There's more information to the story now than there was previously about an Oklahoma sheriff and two staffers to said sheriff discussing lynching black people in leaked audio. So basically, what happened is, I'll just play the audio. I wonder how much they had to bleep. The following audio, released by the McCurtain Gazette News, is distressing. Its authenticity has not been independently verified by the Oklahoman. It has since. This was when the story first broke. Obviously, it's been verified because these people have since resigned. Been pretty well and truly confirmed, I would say.
On the bark body, we wrap it up in tinfoil to preserve the body and stuff like that, and we get all the body parts and stuff like that. And Kyla was out there too.
All the body part? Oh, she come apart?
Yeah, just the bark bodies.
No, I know. I picked up on
and
they really fall apart when they're burnt?
Can, yeah.
Have you ever had barbecue?
That's another.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm hungry.
Kyla looks at the face,
glasses
and they got to wrap the tinfoil and put her in the body bag. Kyla goes, "You do know what we got to do now, right?" And Face goes, "No, what?" She goes, "She got to preheat the oven 350 degrees, leave her in there for 15 minutes." And she went, Bless her. It was, and then the medical examiner asked her, he said, "Hey, we're just going to eat." And he looked at Face, he goes, "You want to go with me and go eat barbecue?"
Realize, like your job. I heard the other day, said, I heard 10 or 12 people go to the sheriff. I said, fuck, let's get 20. They don't have a goddamn clue what they're getting into.
Oh, yeah.
Not this day and age.
But everybody.
I'm going to tell you something. If it was back in the day, would when Alan Marshall take a damn blackjack, whoop their ass and throw them in the cell, I'd run for the sheriff.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that no more.
I know. Take them down here on Mud Creek and hang them up with the damn rope.
Yeah.
But you can't do
And
that.
the thing about it is,
they got more rights than we got.
What they really don't know is
and that's the thing about it. 20 years ago, I would have done something like that. I mean, 20 years ago, I wasn't in a political position.
they're insignificant in my life.
Yes.
Really, they bring that
Don't
to my
say this,
table.
What goes around goes around.
It will. I told you it will.
Yeah.
I know where two big deep holes are if you ever need them.
I got an excavator.
And these are pre-dug. Yeah, but the thing of it is,
We actually told the truth.
I've known 2 or 3 hitmen that are very quiet guys
Yeah,
and would cut no mercy
yeah,
in Louisiana because it's all mafia around
Yeah.
Oh,
Louisiana.
yeah.
yeah. But here's the reality: if the hair on his wife's head, Chris Willingham's head, or any of those people that really were behind all that, if the hair on their head got touched by anybody, who would be the bad guys?
Who
Yeah.
get blamed for it?
Yeah.
So to translate this for non-Southerners, to the extent that Oklahoma can be considered the proper South, they were joking about a woman who was burnt to death in a house fire. Then the chief talked about how in the good old days he would have lynched black people, but now they can't do that because of woke, and also black people have more rights than white people do. And then they were talking about hiring hitmen to assassinate journalists. So that's the. Yeah, I'm from Los Angeles, so this isn't exactly my native dialect either, but that is what they were talking about. Vaush, this could be some Nazis in a Munich beer hall in 1920. It's the same thing. Oh, no, yeah, 100%. There are a lot of cops like this. But by the way, after this audio got leaked, their first response to it was to say that audio was illegally acquired and that they might. Yeah, here we go. The Kern County sheriffs, after they were secretly recorded in a public meeting, the vote to suspend Sheriff Kevin Clardy, Sheriff's Investigator Alicia Manning, and Jail Administrator Larry Hendricks was unanimous. The Sheriff's Association said on Facebook, the suspension does not remove them from their job within the Sheriff's Department. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt called for the trio's resignations. Kern County Gazette News identified the four as the officials who were recorded March 6, making threatening and racist statements after a meeting. The county commission. None have spoken publicly about the scandal engulfing the county. On Monday, the sheriff's office claimed that the recording had been illegally obtained, appeared to have been altered, and may have violated a state law prohibiting secret recordings by third parties. So essentially, you did the crime. Also, it's fake. It's not real. Yeah, right. Here we have some local activism from individuals that have more rights than the... Oh, by the way, I assume this is the county chief, looking exactly like how you'd think it would. You'd think he would, by the way. Like 1-to-1, exactly what you were imagining in your head. White people with faces this red but hair this white all have, like, Southern parish vibes. I don't even know if this is the right guy. I'm just assuming that it is because of how he looks. Christian Jones of the law firm Kilpatrick Townsend, which represents the newspaper, insisted the recording had not been tampered with, and the reporter, Bruce Willingham, whose family had owned the newspaper for 40 years, did not break the law in making it. It's an accurate recording and does not violate the Oklahoma Security of Communications Act, Jones said by email. The full audio is planned to be released on Thursday, which we've since listened to. We just did. The entire recording has already been turned over to the FBI and the Oklahoma Attorney General's office. Nice, nice. Picketers came down. McCurtain Memorial Hospital in Idabel was evacuated after it got a bomb threat. It was not immediately clear whether it was related to the protests. Could have been a could have been a misfire. Could have just been a casual United States bomb threat. Just a random one. Obviously what they did was insanely wrong, but did they do any crime? Why report to the FBI? Well, this is the United States of America. You know, policemen talking affectionately about killing people and lynching black people and stuff. I'm pretty sure this is like borderline constitutionally protected. The honest question is, I don't actually know whether or not they're like talking about hiring a hitman constitutes any kind of unlawful activity. Certainly, I mean, I think there's the potential for investigation. I mean, there might be other stuff that could potentially be explained by the tendencies of these officials, right? Like, maybe someone got lynched there 10 years ago. Who knows? Doesn't hurt to turn it over to the FBI. Yeah, it could be conspiracy to commit murder. I don't know if they're going to get charged with that. They're probably not. Yes, white supremacy is a national security risk, 100%. Willingham's son reported the news, slewed clearing many of the commissioners. Unspecified damage. Oh, that's nice. A reporter at the newspaper that leaked this audio is suing these officials for slander. That's good. A lot of cops really are just sociopaths. But this is like directed sociopathy. You very rarely see people who are white supremacists who are also like not incredibly cruel and callous towards human life. You very rarely see the balance of like, oh yeah, this is a police officer and someone who thinks white people are better than black people, but also, they're civil and respectful and have like generally, humane attitudes towards people. You don't see that very often for a good reason. And then since their resignation, I want more than a resignation. I mean, for instance, they resigned from the county commissioner's office. Have they resigned from being cops? I think they've only resigned from being county commissioners. I'm pretty sure this guy is still they're still a cop, still the jail. Yeah, the guy who runs the local jail. They're still getting paid. Is this a hold on. Is this an elected position? Yeah, sheriff. Sheriffs are elected positions. The governor did say he wanted to prosecute them. I wonder when the next sheriff election is in this county. That's getting a bit in the weeds. You know what's funny? There's going to be another election for sheriff, and I bet you that guy's going to run again, and I bet you he's still going to win. I mean, it's rural Oklahoma, right? When people say don't write off the South, a large part of that is people like this, Like, there are tons of black people who live in horribly racist areas who have to just eke out an existence under the worst circumstances while being ruled over by the most obviously hateful and racist people in the world, and it just doesn't matter because there are more white people than black people, and a lot of the white people in the South are really racist, and you just can't get around that. You can't. I do believe there are plenty of Republicans who can be moved over or who aren't as bad as like the mainline GOP, insanely ultra anti-woke, anti-trans racist people. But there are a lot of white people in the South who legit would just be like pro-slavery, These are the same people who were yelling at Ruby Bridges for going to school. Yeah. Federal government actions needed for this particular problem. Yeah, we need Reconstruction too. I know this might be a stupid question, but why don't the black people there just move? Because moving is expensive. Also, because the only thing a lot of these black families have down in the South are community. They live next to other people. They rely on each other. Like sometimes moving, like you're gonna move on your own, you have to move a family over. Like you're gonna move like 9 people with you, like grandma, grandpa, like everyone, and then like you're leaving your neighbors behind. It's community, you know, like longevity, right? Why doesn't anyone move, right? Yeah, there's like generational roots there. Just move. Vaush's advice to trans people in Missouri yesterday was just move, remember lol. First of all, I said that understanding it's not easy. I still think it's a good idea. Second of all, the laws that are being passed right now for like anti-trans laws are way worse than any like anti-black law. Where the main culture war right now is not towards genocide of black people, it's genocide of trans people. It's a higher threat level. And 3, trans people moving doesn't mean moving the community. Moving black people, the millions of black people out of the South means like generational family community moves. Whereas, let's be real, a lot of you trans Missourians are hated by your parents anyway for not being the child they wanted. You moving would probably be a you thing, you know? Genocide of black people is like 4 steps down the line behind trans gays and Jews, maybe before Jews. No, I actually disagree. I don't think it's actually possible. We're not really in the same position as the Weimar Republic when it comes to racial integration. America is a super multiracial country. I think even the Republicans understand that at this point. That's why there's been so much of an effort to try to attract like black, Latin, and Asian voters to the GOP. Not very successful, except for Latin people, but you know, broadly, there's not really a way. There's not really a way to excise like 100 million plus people like that. That's too much. That's like an insurmountable. That might actually be part of the reason why they're going after trans people is because it's a smaller minority group, right? Like it represents a much smaller portion of the country, which means that there's a you know, you can rely on the average voter not personally knowing a trans person, which nowadays is changing, but whereas like you're not going to find that many people in America who have like never met or had a positive engagement with any black, Latin, or Asian person. Maybe in like the rural sticks or something, but for the most part, most Americans have. People like Lauren Witzka and Ian Miles Chung are both trying to spark racial tensions in a race war. Yeah, they're both Nazis. Of course they are. But I'm not talking about what like crazy Nazis on the internet want. I'm talking about what the GOP can actually do. America will never be white only. That's over. It's over. That's not happening. Yeah, I saw this. So speaking of how much worse things are for trans people in Republican states, like outrage as Florida Republicans pass fascist bill to remove trans kids from parents' custody. I really wish they wouldn't put fascist in quote marks here. Listen to this. SB 254, which one former lawmaker has called fascist legislation, would allow the state to rip children from their parents when they are at risk or subjected to gender-affirming health care. I like at risk being included there, like basically meaning the state can abduct your children if they kind of vibe it out and they feel like you know, yeah, maybe, you know, your parents have watched 1.5 seasons of RuPaul Drag Race. We deem there is a high risk of gender happening in this household at children. This is openly genocidal. Yes, it is. I assume this has passed the House. Has this passed the House or has it gotten to the Senate yet? SB 254. Florida. What stage are we on? Senate? It's in through the Senate. In returning messages from as of, let's see, failed amendments, temporarily postponed, read third time yet 2 days ago. CS passed as amended, 82 yays, 31 nays in returning messages. This will probably pass, yeah. Many right-wing dictatorships in Latin America ripped babies from imprisoned left-wing or indigenous mothers in the 1970s. That is so in line with fascist politics. They gave the children to loyalist military officers. Nice. HB 1562 is the state's restroom bill, which prohibits businesses from utilizing gender-inclusive bathrooms. Oh, they're literally going to ban gender-inclusive restrooms. Like, what, can you not even have gender-neutral restrooms anymore? In the future, all restrooms they won't even have toilets or urinals. There will simply be a silicone mold that's perfectly shaped to your genitals, and you simply smush your genitals against them and then urinate. And there's nothing. That's it. What if it's a small place with only one toilet? My guess is that this still allows for like family bathrooms or gender neutral restrooms, but maybe like only one stall. Like you could have a bathroom that anyone could use, but you can't have you can't have restrooms that have like multiple. I don't know, dude. It doesn't have to make sense. SB 1438 empowers the state to take punitive measures against businesses that host LGBTQ friendly shows or drag performances. Okay, so they can attack businesses for being progressive. It also gives the state the power to prohibit minors from attending events it deems inappropriate. Minors will be barred from events even if their parents consent, a policy that flies in the face of Governor DeSantis's educational agenda that favors parental consent to an extreme degree. If SB 1438 is made law, it would also likely mean the end of most pride parades. Alejandra Caraballo. Hey, I know them. Yeah, it's all Nazi shit. Genital scanner outside rest. Oh, yeah. Yeah, on the plus side, apparently the Missouri report your neighbor for being trans form has been taken down. So that's neat. Yeah. I don't know, man. The problem is, man, we're going to start to see like we're going to see some shit going down in Miami. The effects are going to kick up soon. Yeah, I don't think that a lot of even like liberals in Florida understand how bad it is and it's going to get. I don't think they understand that like this is literally like not a place you can live in anymore. How did Miami go during the 2020 election? Miami votes presidential 2020. Where did they? I don't think it went well. Not entirely. I mean, keep in mind that back during November 2020, like if you want a reminder, Florida went to Trump, yeah, 51-48. Like Florida isn't a crazy ultra deep red state. It like the it's gerrymandered and the elected officials are deep red and the governor is deep red, but there are a lot of people in Florida who are not going to be down for the kidnapping of children. Miami-Dade County, which Biden carried by 7.4 points. Yeah, Florida's been suppressing votes as well. There was a DeSantis blowout, though. Yeah, because Florida Democrats fucking suck. Okay, man, now that it's over, I can say, all right? Look at this guy. Nobody's going to vote for this person for governor. Are you kidding me? Okay? The problem is, like, okay, if you want to be like red-pilled on how this goes down, look at the votes for the gubernatorial election compared to the presidential election, all right? In 2020, how many people voted for Donald Trump in Florida? Okay, 5.6 mil. How many voted for Ron DeSantis? 4.6 mil. Okay, so like 80% of the people who voted for Trump then went on to vote for Ron DeSantis. Okay, now look at Biden versus that 5.3 down to 3.1. Oh, like 55% of the people who voted for Biden voted for this. Okay, the problem here isn't that there aren't Democrats. Like, look at the state map in comparison. We're missing blue spots here, people. The Republicans have put an ungodly amount of time and energy and effort into promoting DeSantis's regime in Florida. But who here knows Charlie Crist? Did you remember that guy's name before I just found the Wikipedia page for the election? Because I didn't. I didn't remember this guy. No, I'm comparing proportional representation to the presidential election, Exel. He was the governor from 2012. Dude, Florida Democrats suck so much. He only joined the Democratic Party in 2012. This is literally like a rhino. This is literally like a McCain guy. We keep doing this over and over again. Democrats think, well, what do red states want in local leaders? Oh, they want Republican lights. No, they want progressives, you idiots. Every time. They're, yeah, well, maybe if we, like, run moderates or, like, basically Republicans except slightly less genocidal, then that's what they'll be voting for. No, nobody cares about them. People who want conservatism will just get conservatism from DeSantis. It's like with New York Dems. Like, the state of New York is like a blue stronghold. But then you look at local elections and Republicans and like centrist Dems win everywhere. And it's because there's no democratic framework in New York. It sucks. They infight. They're stupid. Anyway, I do think there's going to some extent, be blowback here, you know? Like, with the votes in Miami having gone where they went, Biden plus 7.4, maybe it's even lower plus Biden for now. I really don't think a lot of people here realize how bad it's going to get. What about Manchin in West Virginia? He did better than progressives in the state. Manchin is a special case, okay? Manchin isn't a human being. Manchin is like a poltergeist summoned from a demonic ritual of oil barons. He rose to represent their interests. He's not. He's a totally different. Okay. The serious answer is that he really is a special case. Only Joe Manchin can win blue where Joe Manchin is. You know, blue, right? Miami tried hard running progressives last year and lost because they sucked. Because, guys, the Democratic Party doesn't provide sufficient monetary support to Democrats who are running in red areas unless they're like moderates or Republican lights. The Democrats don't want to prop up or support like progressive populism, so they'll fight against that whenever they can see, you know. It's the Democrats suck, okay? They suck. Disney hopefully will soon. Oh, some good news on that front. Speaking of the ongoing war to win over the median voter, there is more good news on the Disney front. I can't believe DeSantis is stupid enough to make being anti-Disney the like leading thing Florida has, his like a component of his war. Ron DeSantis' new oversight board has discovered yet another 11th hour agreement that allows Walt Disney Company to set its own utility rates at Orlando theme parks. 0. A Disney subsidiary which provides utility services to the Central Florida District that includes the Walt Disney World Resort negotiated an agreement in February that extends its contract through 2032. Nice meme. You can't. They're Disney lawyers. Like, what? Do you think people will be shit talking Disney stuff as a dog whistle now? If they seriously want to make being anti-Disney their big culture war battle, good luck. Disney owns American culture. Yeah, good luck fighting a culture war against the corporate like handlers of our culture. They kind of already have. Well, Republicans have sort of tentatively, but right now we're seeing a very like overt attack. DeSantis was threatening to open like sewage treatment plants and state prisons right adjacent to Disney World as retribution. How do you think that would play out? Like, really? Ron DeSantis spending tens of millions of dollars de-beautifying the premier tourist resort and economic asset of Florida, with state prisons and like sewage treatment plants, to be out of vindictiveness. And the consequence of this is less money for Florida and nothing else. Like, there are losing battles even for the delusional GOP, right? If you look at Disney World blogs, everyone is becoming an anti-DeSantis website. I don't think people understand just how deeply rooted like Disney culture is in America and how bad of an idea it would be to make being anti-Disney your champion like issue when 90% of the American dream is saving up to take your kids to Disney World. Right? Literally though, it's like a mecca for fat American suburbanites. Seriously, at the center of Disney, like the big Disney castle in the middle is like the Mecca cube. Like it's so dumb. Yeah. What like average American boomer is going to fly over to Orlando, spend $8 trillion on the tickets and the hotel accommodations and on the food, and then they go over there and they see there's a big traffic holdup that's keeping them from entering the park because of construction for a state prison that he admitted to only building to get back. Like, it's just, like I say, they're overextending. This shit does not resonate with the vaunted median voter. When I lived in CA and the last time I went to LA, I went to Disneyland. Even as an adult, I had a great time. Oh yeah, Disneyland's fun. I'm not really a big roller coaster guy, and I mean, I don't really care about Disney, but there's stuff going on there that's like fun to attend, you know? I haven't actually been to Disneyland since getting my streaming job, which makes, like, if I went there now, I'd have money to spend. I could go to the Blue Bayou without literally bankrupting myself. Oh, actually, one of the first times I went to Disneyland was my high school graduation party. there was like a vote at Beverly Hills High School of like what we wanted to do to like celebrate the graduation. So everyone in the grade got bused down to Anaheim for Disneyland, and they like rented out the park. It wasn't just BHHS. There were other schools that did it too. So it wasn't just us, but it was like nicer schools, obviously. I did that too. Nice. Yeah. They passed that bill, by the way. Yeah. All right. Well, grim news aside, I like how the good news of this channel, this live stream right now, is like every day we get to go, okay, so they're being more fascist than ever before, but let me explain how it's a good thing because of the bad optics, which is what I'm doing, and I'm sincere about it, but it's just very funny that that's kind of what it's come to, you know? Remember, it's not enough that this leads to Republican unpopularity, you know? There needs to be an acknowledgement that the Republican Party is illegitimate and destructive and genocidal and monstrous, and that they can't just lose. They have to be dissolved. Why don't you just block them on Twitter? True.